It's rivalry night in Half Moon Bay. Game 1 of our doubleheader as the host Cougars tangle with the Terra Nova Tigers. Hi everybody, I'm Dave Lewis along with Alex Jensen. Danielle Alvari will be around in just a couple moments. And this has been a rivalry dominated by Half Moon Bay, but Terra Nova feels like this could be the year they finally break through.
Yeah, the Tigers with 12 wins already. That's 5 more than they had all of last year. They've got the experience. They've got some new pieces now. They feel like this is their time to take control of this rivalry.
Yeah, learning how to win the tight games this year. It's all about buy-in and accepting the rules. In fact, Kennedy Armstrong leads them in scoring and rebounding and doesn't even start.
Yeah, as we mentioned, they have the experience, and that's great. It also helps to have somebody who's averaging a double-double coming off the bench, and she has been a true difference maker. 24 points against Dublin earlier this year, proved to everybody that she is for real. She helps them defensively, she helps them offensively, and she can put her stamp on this rivalry tonight.
Half Moon Bay coming off a section title. They lost a lot of pieces, new players assuming new roles, no real star. Players like Riley Donovan will be huge tonight.
Yeah, energy is the main word for this Half Moon Bay team. And Riley Donovan, who's in her first year playing high school basketball, exemplifies that coming off the bench. It helps to have that energy, it helps to play hard, but you need somebody to put the ball in the basket. That's exactly what Riley Donovan's been able to do.
Defending the post critical. In fact, as a team, Half Moon Bay allows 27% in field goal defense and 17% on threes. Game 1 of our doubleheader. Tigers and Cougars next on CHN. Welcome to Half Moon Bay, game 1 of our doubleheader. The girls taking center stage. The Half Moon Bay Cougars 15-4, 6-1 in league against Terra Nova 12-5, 4-1 in the PAL. The starting 5 for the Tigers. And a surprise, Kennedy Armstrong an hour ago said, "Coach, put me in." So 18 points, 10 boards, now in the starting lineup. Wong Han, Filippo, Saini, and Pasqua, the veterans. Kawan Somerville, year number 2, taking over for his brother Kareem, who's now the head coach at Dublin. And the 5 for the Cougars, Dioli, Cordes back in there, getting healthy, Kalucha, Edgar, and Urban. There's Antonio Veloso coming off a section championship a year ago. 2 20-win seasons last year, the best in Half Moon Bay history. Let's go down to Danielle Alvari.
Thanks, Dave. This week I spoke with senior guard from Half Moon Bay, Catherine Dioli, who said that her family has been a major influence on her basketball career. Her sophomore sister Bella is also on this varsity team, and her father, Martin Dioli, played basketball at Gonzaga. He now coaches the Cougars JV team and helps with varsity. So she said between the 3 of them, they play some very competitive one-on-one games.
Martin, in fact, worked out with John Stockton in his early years at Gonzaga, played for Dan Fitzgerald. We have a great matchup, a contrast in styles. AJ, what do we look for in terms of style? What does Half Moon Bay have to do to win?
Half Moon Bay needs to get up and down. I mean, again, this is a team that is not going to kind of blow you away on the screen. What they are going to do is play really hard and try and outcompete their opponent. They want to get up and down. If this turns into a half-court game, though, you know, with Kennedy Armstrong in the middle for Terra Nova, Half Moon Bay could be fighting an uphill battle.
Post defense critical on how you deal with the 6'5 center.
No question, they're going to have to front the post. And as the bleachers are shaking here, Dave, they're getting into it here, but they're going to have to front the post and send that help side defense.
Urban jumping center against Armstrong, and we are underway. First possession to the Tigers wearing the traveling black. This is Venus Pasqua going baseline. 4-year varsity player. Armstrong keeps it alive in a fresh shot clock. Kapua Wang Hin off of the jumper, and the Cougars want to push. Stepping into a 3 on a Cordes off the mark. Last touching the Cougars and out of bounds.
Well, you can already see, Dave, the Cougars want to get into their offense within 8 to 10 seconds on the shot clock. And Terra Nova really we might see some full court pressure here from Half Moon Bay. I would imagine, in fact, that we would.
What a catch inside by Armstrong. She's got great hand with the shot off the mark. This is Catherine Dioli.
I love the fact that Kennedy Armstrong went to her head coach and said, "I want to start today," and that he gave her that opportunity. Good makeup.
Shot blocked by Armstrong. Loose inside, and a Half Moon Bay turnover. The team has really struggled to score this year, 44.5 points per game. This is Pasqua. Nina shut off. Urban hauls it in. Tied up this time, the arrow points to Half Moon Bay.
The second drive for Pasqua we've seen come up empty. And for Terranova, you got to know it's okay to be patient, especially when you have Kennedy Armstrong in the middle. And now it's Terranova's turn to turn up the pressure 94 feet.
Half Moon Bay 6-1 in league. Terranova 4-1. Both teams chasing South San Francisco. This is Urban. Timer at 10. Urban pulling Kennedy away from the basket. Nice pass on the inside. But Kennedy Armstrong hauls in the rebound. 2-on-1.
Nice
Great
pass.
good feed. That's Morgan Filippo, 5'6" junior wing. Last year scored 22 points a game on the JV.
And Saini with the pass there, Dave, and that's one of those players, Saini and Pasqua, that Antonio Veloso was especially concerned about, being able to make plays for their teammates.
Cordes. Another block by Armstrong.
That's 2 already for Armstrong. Again, making a difference without scoring here.
Had a couple of big games against Cougars last year. Lob inside for Armstrong. Pass too tall. Kennedy runs it down. Time we're at 7. Saini scoop it up and in with the right hand. 4-0 Tigers.
And once again, it's Saini making a play for Terranova.
Cordes breaks the press. Pass deflected by Nova and out of bounds.
Capable ball handler there. Drive with confidence. Good looking play.
3-year varsity starter and a great open court player. Antonio Veloso wants to regroup. Looking at Kawan Somerville. Half Moon Bay coming off the best season in school history. In fact, Veloso was raving about not only the great year they had, but they had to beat 3 private schools to win the section title. Notre Dame, Menlo School, and Sacred Heart Prep.
The first section title in program history.
Let's go down to Danielle Avari.
I spoke with Venus Pasqua on Thursday and found out that she spends a lot of time drawing because in her free time she likes to draw tribal and Polynesian art. So she can draw art, draw shots, and draw a crowd. She can just do it all.
No doubt about it. She's certainly drawing a crowd early in this crucial PAL game. Big factor with the Tigers program over 4 years. Dioli, denied baseline, reappearing on the other side. Catherine stays with it.
Half Moon Bay basketball right there in one play, Dave. You drive baseline, you get your shot blocked, you get your own miss, lay it back up and in. Competitiveness and energy. That is what the Cougars have done well all year.
No player averaging in double figures on the year. Defense swarming. Jarred free, forcing the turnover. This is Urban. And Dioli looks to push. McKenna Colucci, pick up the dribble. Good ball movement. Bowers. And a fresh shot clock. Ana Corda stepped out of bounds.
Again, not going to jump off the page at you, the Cougars, but the stick-to-itiveness there by Dioli. Again, that's Half Moon Bay. That's the Cougars in a nutshell, Dave. And that'll win you a lot of ball games. I don't care how talented you are. If you want it more than your opponent, that's what the Cougars have done this year.
Venus Pasqua. Fouled on the baseline, she'll shoot 2. These are the 5th and 6th ranked teams in Division 4 in the section. Now foul charge to Tatiana Ediger, her first.
You can see why Antonio Veloso was so concerned. We talked about Saini already, but with Pasqua at 5'10", she's shown an ability to handle the basketball. A tough matchup in high school basketball. If you're 5'10", can handle the ball on the perimeter and make moves toward the basket like she has.
Somerville said that the offense runs through her 70% of the time. 74% foul shooter makes 2 in a row. 6-2 Tigers lead as they set the press. Forcing the turnover. This is Pasqua, create the contact. Foul charge to Claire Yerby, that's her first.
Pasqua just too quick to the left. Yerby couldn't move her feet. This is a TerraNova team that didn't press much last year, and now they have the personnel to do so, and paying dividends here as Pasqua goes back to the line. Quicker team this year, Dave. It's
quick and deep, Alex. In fact, coach said that he's going to run 10 or 11 players out there. Keep the bodies fresh and keep the pressure on.
Well, if you press that way, that's to be expected. Certainly what I'm curious to see is who comes off the bench now that Kennedy Armstrong is in the starting lineup, and how does that affect their rotations?
Bowers, good ball movement. Claire Yerby off the mark. Venus Pasqua double team to the backcourt. This time the possession arrow points to TerraNova.
One thing Kwan Somerville made sure to point out was the first 4 and last 4. First 4 minutes of the first half, last 4 minutes of the first half, same thing in the second half. And so far, the first 4 minutes of this first half have gone pretty well for TerraNova.
Pass over the top, yard free. Riley Donovan with the steal. This is Miley Bowers. Catherine Dioli. No true low post game. The Cougars spread the floor. A lot of read and react as Bowers reappears on the other side. Deflected by Donovan and out of bounds.
That's going to be the question for Half Moon Bay. Armstrong changes a lot in the paint. The shots that you think you may have on the strong side, you're going to have to reappear on the other side like there.
Press peg ahead of the pack is Armstrong, who lays it in with the left hand. Kennedy's first points and a fast start for Nova on the road.
That time Half Moon Bay just overcommitting on the press, letting Armstrong get behind the defense.
Good ball movement. Belmonte. Shot off the mark. Shot clock at 10 as Bowers drives and misses the lefty runner. Saini. Can't finish. This is Yerby. Shot clock at 20. 3 off the mark as TerraNova looks to push 2-on-1. Venus Pasqua. Shot deflected and a foul. Charge to Belmonte, that's her first. Genevieve, the stepdaughter of Coach Veloso.
Only a freshman. TerraNova running the break that time, Dave, much better than they ran at the time before. I'm not sure that Saini saw she had Filippo leaking out ahead of the play on that last fast break opportunity. This time they used the ball movement well to get Pasqua back to the line.
That deep bench coming into play right now as 3 fresh Tigers enter the fray.
Something to keep an eye on is how many three-point shots is Half Moon Bay going to take here? That's been a strength of TerraNova all year long because they have somebody like Armstrong in the middle. Most of their opponents have to shoot over the defense, and Half Moon Bay not a great shooting team. Here's another 3.
Belmonte's 3 off the mark. And a travel in the backcourt. Sierra Kolomatangi on the floor for the first time for TerraNova. 10-2 the Tigers lead. They've dropped the last 6 in this series.
Nice play.
Miley Bowers. Baseline OB executed perfectly. Lead cut to 6.
Well, here's a freshman, Dave, handling point. Ashley Ng. See how she handles it. This was one of the big questions for Kwan Somerville coming into this rivalry game. Good hands there.
Teams exchange turnovers. Kolomatangi, who lives in Half Moon Bay, pitches it ahead to Pasqua. Cougars really swarming defensively.
Good ball movement.
Unable to finish, Armstrong after it. Kennedy with those great hands. Last touching TerraNova and out of bounds.
Let's check out this out of bounds play. See Armstrong gets dragged away from the middle of the key. Wide open lane for Bowers to cut down for a wide open layup.
Ira De Vera on the floor for the first time for TerraNova.
And no Armstrong in there right now for TerraNova, Dave. So we'll see if Half Moon Bay is able to get some stuff going toward the basket.
Timer at 15. Belmonte, catch and shoot 3, spins off. Bowers after it. Last touching TerraNova, out of bounds.
So I'd imagine more threes than probably Antonio Veloso wants. Now that's an in-rhythm open three, but that's not necessarily Half Moon Bay's game.
Offensive rebounds a big part of their game this year. 15 to 18 O boards per game on the year.
And we saw that turn into their first points.
Belmonte with a runner. Another possession. Bowers. Miley's three. She's got 5 in the quarter.
Have to be able to kill possessions against this team.
Venus Pasqua answers with a quarter jumper. That's a 2. Venus, if you will. She's got 6.
Well, another offensive rebound, and the Cougars finally get their open 3 to go down. And on the other side, TerraNova able to answer with a triple of their own. Well, a long 2 of their own anyway.
In pass through the key. Tiptoe along the sideline. Final 30 seconds of the quarter. And a foul on the drive as Ng was probing middle.
So far, it's been impressive to watch both teams move the ball side to side, in and out. Gets the defense moving a little bit. And this feels, Dave, like a much wider margin than 5 points, doesn't it? But speaks to Half Moon Bay's competitiveness that this game is only at 5 right now, the way TerraNova's kind of dominated things so far.
Lob to Armstrong, so easy on that baseline of the bounds. Just throw it up and let the big girl go get it. Kennedy's got 4. Lead back to 7. Corner 3 is off the mark from Colucci. Last shot time for the Tigers. They tie it up, and this time the Cougars get the arrow.
We'll see if Half Moon Bay here, Antonio Veloso, makes some adjustments here, because right now the Cougars have shot 2 or 3 threes over Kennedy Armstrong. If you get her in the air, drive around, now you have an open lane to the basket, create some easy offense. Being able to slow the game down, paramount here.
Colucci. Final 5 seconds of the quarter. Picked up by Ng. 2 seconds. Will she get it off in time? Veloso into it. His team has some work to do. TerraNova's dropped the last 6 in this series, trying to break through on the road. 2nd place on the line in the PAL. Fast start for the Tigers on the road, 14-7 on top of Half Moon Bay. Dave Lewis, Alex Jensen, and Danielle Elbari.
When I spoke to senior small forward Numi Saini, she said when she's not on the court feeding the ball down low, she is out feeding the homeless. Saini said she spends 2 Sundays a month volunteering with her church to feed the local homeless. Now that is what you call an unselfish player.
No doubt about it, Danielle. Making this high school basketball experience much more than about the wins and losses.
Great to see well-rounded human beings coming out of this community.
Ira DeVere to throw it in for Ng.
Ashley Ng, after a turnover in the first possession, has calmed down a little bit here over the last few. It's going to be a key to Juan Somerville's effort tonight.
Turns the corner of the ball screen, goes to the rim. Matangi after it. Last touch of Sierra and out of bounds.
Another freshman in Matangi.
There's the pressure again. Miley Bowers. Catherine Dioli. Over the top, Bowers for a rainbow 3 over Armstrong. Rebound, Donovan to shoot 2.
Now the offensive rebounding worked out for Half Moon Bay that time, but again, another 3 over the 6'5 Armstrong. If you fake and drive that thing, not only is Armstrong out of the key, but you've got numbers. Again, the stick-to-itiveness for Half Moon Bay turning into an opportunity for the Cougars at the line.
I was surprised when we were talking to Somerville about that, saying that Armstrong could challenge the 3. Wouldn't you want that to happen so you could drive around her? And he said that their defense is such a good collected group, they're able to recover so well.
Well, again, he knows his team much better than I do.
Riley makes 2 in a row.
But not only does that compromise your defense in the middle, you know, she's expending more energy doing that.
Donovan, great battle with Armstrong on the inside. That's Coach Veloso, former manager at Santa Clara back when Steve Nash played for the Broncos.
With Steve Nash and, of course, Father Dioli with John Stockton. Some pretty good pedigree there.
Lob up top for Armstrong. Stolen by Bowers. Great collapsing on the post for the Cougars. Bounce pass Donovan. Riley with 4.
3-point game.
Pascal says, let's settle it down.
Get the ball in the seniors' hands here. Yeah, slow things down a little bit. Ings there just played a little too fast on that possession. Same thing there with the freshman Kola Matungi. Put a little bit of air under that. Let Armstrong go and get it. She's got great hands. Again, driving out ahead of Armstrong. And a lot of the game plan for both teams are going to hinge on Armstrong because she's such a difference maker. And that time, Half Moon Bay able to get out in front of the defense and get numbers, make a nice pass in the lane.
Miley Bowers. Shot deflected and a foul. The junior will shoot 2. Ball handling a major issue.
And
Half Moon Bay needs to take care of it.
a few of those since the second quarter started for Terra Nova. I mean, just, you know, simple entry passes to Armstrong. And give Half Moon Bay credit. You know, their effort on the post has bothered some of those passing lanes and forced the freshman on Terra Nova to speed up a little bit.
Miley splits a pair but gets it back. Hard of the goal. Great energy by the Cougars. Tied up in the backcourt this time. Half Moon Bay gets it. Miley, one of Veloso's players coming on, had a 17-point game against El Camino. This is Bowers for Dioli. Pass too tall. Intended for Abby Urban.
Right idea. Touch pass down low. Overthrew her a little bit.
Cougars on the verge of being in a big hole, now only down 2. Kapul Wong Hin. Drug free. Abby Urban with a steal. Sayini to beat. And we're tied at 14. A 7-0 run for the Cougs. Going back to Armstrong. Too deep under the backboard. And Half Moon Bay looking to push. Count if it goes. Does not go. Anna Cordes will shoot 2. And the tempo really quickening in favor of Half Moon Bay.
I was just going to say, the last few minutes, we've gotten up and down. And right here, just a nice read by Abby Urban. Able to finish in transition.
Anna, a starter on last year's section championship team. Getting back to full health will be a major factor down the stretch. Got some great players off of last year's roster now playing college basketball. Addison Walling and Allie Longacre now at Austin College in Texas. Cordes will assume a major role down the stretch.
Just like that, Half Moon Bay's got the lead. Terra Nova dominated the opening minutes of this thing. Once again, a shot within 7 seconds of the offense.
Claire Yerby backs it out. Deflected to the baseline, and Half Moon Bay will get it back.
You love how disciplined the Cougars have been after the first portion of that first quarter.
Yerby for Dioli. Lefty runner. Gets the roll. Catherine's got 4.
And that's a shot that probably doesn't go down earlier in the game, but you take that with confidence. It's funny how those seem to go in, right? When you're making a run, you take that shot with confidence.
You feel collectively the Cougars are playing with much more confidence. Antonio Veloso wants a timeout with everything going his way.
Nice little runner, Dioli. I think they saw that in the kennel up north with her dad. Nice lefty finish. Again, one of those plays that probably wouldn't have gone in for Half Moon Bay in the first part of that first quarter. Right now, though, the Cougars playing with confidence. That one's going to go down.
What about Coach Veloso taking the timeout with his team on a roll right now?
No, it's interesting because normally you see after a make, especially after a turnover, the Cougars have all the momentum right here. And this gives Terra Nova kind of a chance to settle down a little bit because we've seen it. Half Moon Bay has sped the Tigers up a little bit. But you got to love the emotion that he is showing right now, Coach Veloso, right? I mean, he told us that's his favorite part about his team, the emotion they show, the way they compete.
I asked Coach about the timeouts because I asked you about it. He said, you know what, he's gotten it from other big-time coaches, Jim Herrick among others, saying, you know what, we know that they need a timeout. I'm going to take the timeout because I'm showing I'm in control.
It is interesting. He mentioned he has been watching USF practice lately, and something he picked up from Kyle Smith there on the hilltop.
Also the way they watch film, along with the Philadelphia 76ers. Back cut beautifully, nicely done. As Yurdi can't finish in a foul.
And all of a sudden, Half Moon Bay has really settled into this game, and you're seeing their offense starting to. I mean, how many threes have the Cougars taken, Dave, in the last handful of minutes? Not many. Yeah. I mean, we've seen a lot of back cuts, a lot of drives going toward the rim. It's settled down nicely.
Aaliyah Haynes on the floor for the first time, transfer from Eastside Prep. Took a year off, now back into this game. Pasqua rises up and knocks into two. Cut the lead to 2. Venus with 8 for the game.
The Tigers need to feel good about something there. You'd still like to see them getting something at the rhythm of their offense.
Tiger trying to make something happen with their defense. Riley Donovan for Dioli. Urban dumps it inside. Donovan over Armstrong. Rebound secured by Wong Hin. Tigers playing for the tie or the lead on the road. 3 for Pasqua. 23-footer straight away.
Listen, that may have been out of the offense too, Dave, but when Pasqua has it rolling the way she is, go ahead. The hot hand roll.
That's a kick by Haynes. And a fresh shot clock for the Cougars.
And sometimes you don't necessarily need a half-court set. She was actually trying to put her hair up before she took that shot, Dave. That may be why she took it, but when you're feeling it, you're feeling it.
Tigers by 1. McKenna Colucci. Dioli had a notion. Urban. Timer at 15. Dribble weave. Colucci. Lefty, high arcing rainbow over Armstrong. McKenna's first points. And the Cougs lead by 1.
How about that finish?
Aaliyah Haynes, Jard free. As Miley Bowers with the steal. Half Moon Bay by 1. Dioli, left-hand pass, find Urban, pump fake, go to the goal, and finish with the left hand. Abby with 4 in the quarter.
Great patience. Use a little head fake, find the opening. God, Half Moon Bay after those first couple of minutes looks really composed.
Wong Hin dumps it inside, Jard free. Perhaps trying to force it too much to Armstrong, assuming she'll catch everything. Miley Bowers. Rainbow jump from the corner for 2. 5-point spread. And Half Moon Bay beginning to roll. Miley's got 8, she averages 9.
Good timeout here by Kawan Somerville. His team just looks out of sorts. They look frustrated. He really only has one player that's making plays, and that's Pasqua right now. He needs to settle this team down and get them back into the rhythm they were in to open this game.
Kennedy Armstrong's such a dominant player. They're trying to get it in there too often.
How about that finish? over Armstrong. I mean, throw that thing way up there. And it's interesting, you know, Dave, when you start getting buckets, when you start seeing the ball go through the basket, especially close in, starts to open up a little bit. You start to feel good about yourself, and those shots from the outside start to drop.
Miley's got 8 here in the opening half. High game on the year, 20 against Mercer in the opener.
You know, it seems like this whole run for Half Moon Bay started with that inbound play underneath the basket, dragging Armstrong away from the center of the lane and getting a wide open lane and a wide open layup. When you get open shots, things start to fall your way. And the Tigers need to regroup.
TerraNova with 12 wins on the year. Last year, 7-17. A team that's learned how to win the tough games. Much more experienced. And he told us earlier in the week, hey, we're not that same squad that's going to go on the road and just fold. Down 5 on the road tonight.
Trying his hand with another freshman point guard. Ashley Ng played pretty well. First couple minutes she was in the game.
Jarred free by Bowers and a foul on Miley. Grabbing onto the wrist of Morgan Filippo. Tatiana Edgar back on as Donovan goes to the bench. Riley with all 4 of her points in the second quarter. Venus Pasqua has been the big factor so far for TerraNova. She's got the ball high post. Drawing a lot of attention. There's the double. Natalie Ng. Another turnover. And a palm.
Tigers catch a break there. Again, just playing a little too fast for TerraNova. Dribbling into traffic, into double teams. Have to slow it down. There's always going to be an open player. That's easier said than done, of course.
Venus Pasqua shut off on the baseline. Line drive jumper off the mark. Taken by Colucci. Good ball movement. Nicely done and a finish for Bella Dioli. There's a player down at the other end, an injured TerraNova player in the key. Got Kellyanne Lathrop.
It is. Looked like she got knocked in the back of the head, maybe.
Cougars had the power play, if you will. Player advantage at the other end.
And they executed once again. Look at this interior passing. Right across the key, another back cut, another layup. Half Moon Bay kind of got away from who they were in the opening minutes of this game, Dave. And
that was Bella Dioli with the finish. 5'8" sophomore, younger sister of Catherine.
Let's take a look at this. And both players going after the basketball.
Certainly nothing flagrant.
And when you get hit in the face like that, you kind of knock on your heels. There's a crucial 65 seconds here for TerraNova. You need at least a bucket going into the break here.
Led by 7 after 1, now trailing by 7. Ng double. Finds Pasqua. Lob for Kennedy Armstrong. Would have counted had it drops to shoot 2. Showing how important this final minute is with Somerville putting Armstrong back on the floor. Kennedy only 45% from the line on the year. It looks much better than that on that release.
I was going to say, it doesn't look like it there. That was a great substitution, by the way, by Kawan Armstrong, taking Kennedy Armstrong out for a couple minutes, maybe having his team slow down a little bit, and then bring her back in for the last minute. She gets a rest, and hopefully for the Tigers, gives them some momentum going into the locker room.
Cut the lead to 5, Bowers. Split that double. Dioli, the veteran. Deflected. Taken by Ng. Numbers that they wanted. Lead pass Filippo. Can't finish in a foul. It's on Tatiana Edgar, her second.
So those are the plays that TerraNova needs to end this first half, and they're still going to get another possession, it looks like, with 5.3 the differential between the two clocks. And the Tigers have been making a living at the line.
Spins off. Genevieve Belmonte back on for the Cougars as Edgar goes to the bench. Morgan averaged 22 points per game last year on the JV. Normally guards the best offensive perimeter player on the other side. Knocks in the free throw. 2 for 4 line today. Belmonte, corner three. Rattles out. Another offensive rebound. And perhaps last shot time for Half Moon Bay.
I'm going to say the shot clock is off. Don't settle here.
Belmonte turned the corner. Pump fake. Deflected by Kolomatangi and out of bounds.
How about the ball movement the Cougars just used to break the press right there? Just 4 straight passes right along the sideline.
Clear the side again. This time the miss off the mark from Miley Bowers. Final 10 seconds.
Plenty of time here.
Venus Pasqua double team. Charge free by Bowers. 4 seconds to play in the half. And Half Moon Bay down 7 after 1, leads by 4 heading into the break.
And it could have been more if not for a crucial run at the end of that first half by TerraNova, but Half Moon Bay has settled down, got the game in their tempo, and they're executing their offense. It's paid off for them. They dominated that second quarter.
They've won the last 6 in this series. The last TerraNova win, 58-32 back on February 14th of 2014.
And just like we thought, Dave, it's a close game here, a 4-point game at the half. Again, it could have been much worse for TerraNova considering the second half they had. Conversely, for Half Moon Bay, could have been much worse after quarter number 1.
Let's go down to Danielle with Coach Veloso.
Coach, how was your team able to come from behind and take the lead heading into the half?
I think we just stuck to the fundamentals of left-hand layups, passing the ball firmly, and working with a lot of energy, playing with a lot of energy.
Kennedy Armstrong is 6'5". How have you been able to keep her at bay?
I don't think we're just running on her. We're going to make her work, and she'll be at bay.
Thanks, Coach. Back to you guys.
Coach Veloso took a program that was dormant for 15 years and now has it rolling. 2 21 seasons in 6 seasons. And last year, the first section championship in school history. At the break, Cougars lead by 4 at home over TerraNova. At the half, Half Moon Bay has rallied from 7 down to lead by 4, 26-22. Let's go down to Danielle Alvari.
I'm joined by TerraNova principal Megan Carey. What can you tell us about this rivalry game?
Oh man, all I can tell you is that 4 years ago when I joined TerraNova, the first basketball game I went to was against Half Moon Bay at TerraNova, and the energy was amazing. It's 2 small towns battling every so often against each other in basketball and football. It's amazing.
And I see you have some company with you tonight. What is your favorite part of this game?
I just love taking my kids to the games to show them what TerraNova and Half Moon Bay, 2 small towns, big high schools with a big community. It's just a family event.
I'm sure the community appreciates the principal coming out. Thank you so much, Megan.
Thank you.
These are the 5th and 6th ranked teams in the CCS. Playoff positioning on the line and perhaps a league title. At the break, it's Half Moon Bay by 4. We are at the half, and Half Moon Bay rallying from 7 down to lead TerraNova 26-22. I'm Dave Lewis, and this is Alex Jensen. And it was a fast start for TerraNova. What went so well for them, and how did things turn around and unravel?
Well, dribble penetration for TerraNova. They got some steals, they got out and ran, but since then the game has turned and the tempo has turned in the favor of Half Moon Bay. TerraNova's kind of gotten away from what they do best.
Let's look at the halftime highlights for TerraNova. One of their best players, the grizzled veteran, Venus Pasqua, making things happen.
Yeah, in transition, nice job with the dribble penetration again, and then Pasqua knocking down shots. She kept the Tigers in it really there in the second half with shot-making ability.
Then things turned the Cougars with momentum.
Well, here's the Cougars' first bucket, and that's an offensive rebound. They go 15-18 a game, and just being able to stick with the play and get the putback. This 3 came after they got a couple of looks going straight to the basket, and they played the defense. They've turned the Tigers over 15 times. They've turned in transition. That's what Half Moon Bay does best.
Since you mentioned the turnovers, look at the other numbers. The one that blows me away, the field goal attempts in favor of Half Moon Bay.
Well, 15 turnovers will help do that to you for TerraNova, but also the offensive rebounding for Half Moon Bay. I mean, they do not have the size advantage tonight, Dave, but their competitiveness keeps them in there on the offensive boards. And they've made the Tigers pay.
+5 on the glass and 6 fewer turnovers. Second place on the line in the PAL, Half Moon Bay with a 4-point lead. Both teams one loss in PAL North play. Half Moon Bay on top by 4. Let's go down to Danielle Alvari.
I spoke with TerraNova coach Somerville. He said that his team needs to do a better job of communicating. He said he saw too many bad passes. He wants them to limit that in the second half, and that this is a rivalry game and that this team needs to be more relaxed and calm.
This Pasqua with a calm jumper from the corner knocks in the 3 to cut the lead to 1.
Get in the hands of your seniors. I think Coach Somerville told Danielle exactly what I've seen. I mean, they've gotten sped up, and he was nervous about how his 3 freshmen performed tonight, Dave, and so far, it's been too many turnovers.
Wondered how his young players would respond in this kind of an atmosphere.
Well, halftime came at a good time for the Tigers, especially after making that push.
Shot blocked by Armstrong again as Cordes tried to challenge.
Remember, first 4, last 4 for TerraNova. This would qualify as the first 4 in the second half.
Ball deflected along the baseline and out of bounds. The 5 for Nova, Filippo, Wong Hin, Saini, Pasqua, and Armstrong. The lob for Kennedy Armstrong off the mark. And stolen by Catherine Dioli. Playing with Cordes, Ediger, Colucci, and Urban.
Nice pass.
Abby Urban.
Yeah, that's nice basketball.
They want to make Armstrong run.
But you can tell this Half Moon Bay team's been playing together for a while, Dave. They understand the spacing. They drive to open areas of the floor. It's fun to watch.
Venus Pasqua create the contact and a foul. That's on the pass.
In transition, Dioli has run the offense nicely tonight, and then the cut to the open space by Urban. A nice feed. I think it was Ediger that made that bounce pass in transition.
So look at Kawan Somerville in his second year as the head coach, as brother Kareem had been the previous head coach. Lob inside, going to Armstrong, the bread and butter.
Got to get back to establishing her more here in the second half as we get going again.
Cut the lead to 1. This is Cordes. On a shut off. Pass too tall. And out of bounds.
And for TerraNova, you can make smart entry passes here. We saw probably going too quick from the inbound play from the baseline there from Pasqua, trying to get it to Armstrong a couple times down the floor. You can be patient and find your angle to enter the ball to the post.
Venus, if you will, a deep 3 or second of the quarter.
I mean, she has been drilling those shots all night, Dave. You got to make her feel a little bit more uncomfortable if you're Half Moon Bay.
Third 3 of the game. She's got 17 as Abby Urban answers at the other end.
How about the start to the second half in this rivalry game?
All square at 30. Saini. Lob over the top, deflected by Urban and out of bounds.
Again, look at the shot clock here. 15 on the shot clock still. You have time to work angles and try and get the ball inside. I thought Armstrong actually got a piece of that 3. And she kind of looked down at her hand like she thought she may have. But again, when you're executing your offense the way Half Moon Bay is, those shots start to fall.
Miley Bowers, one-on-one with Pasqua. Lefty layup. Miley's got 10.
It's a great take and a tough finish. This team's playing with confidence. And a zone look now for Half Moon Bay.
Double team along the sideline. Jarred free. Urban with the steal. Cougs by 2 with the ball. Good ball movement. Miley Bowers, corner 3. Rebound secured by Armstrong. And stolen by Dioli. Good bounce pass. Riley Donovan can't finish. Last touching Saini. Now they change it. Ball goes to TerraNova.
Tell you what, Dave, Catherine Dioli I mean, with the keys to this offense for Half Moon Bay, how many times have we seen her with like a hockey assist? A pass to set up an assist. It's fun to watch. That time down the floor, it didn't pay off for the Cougars, but you get the defense moving side to side. Crowd's getting into it now.
Trying to force another pass to Armstrong. And here come the Cougs again. Catherine Dioli. Shifty to the goal. Can't finish with the left hand. Jarred free and a foul in the backcourt. Looks like it's on Bowers. Or Abby Urban. It is Abby, that's her first.
Pasqua has been making the shots tonight, and Armstrong obviously a big difference in the middle, but I think you could make an argument for Catherine Dioli being the best player on the floor right now. She has made Terra Nova work on defense.
And for the year, doesn't put up big numbers, but really the glue that holds everything together.
Exactly, and that's why you can't just look at a box score and say, these are the best players, these are the people we have to stop.
Shutting off Pasqua. Saini. Kolamatangi. Good ball movement. This is Venus Pasqua over the top for the three. Half Moon Bay by 2. Miley Bowers. Pass to the wing, thinking Dioli was going to zig when she really zagged.
And miscommunication. I want to go back to the last possession for Terra Nova because they moved the ball around really well, but you have to get Armstrong a touch somewhere in there.
Get the three from playing inside first.
Exactly, and they were able to move the ball in a little bit, but if Armstrong is touching the ball in the key, it's different than somebody else. The defense has to collapse.
Stolen by Dioli and a foul. That's Sansaini. Ferocious Half Moon Bay defense, double teaming at midcourt, forcing the turnover to the approval of Antonia Veloso. Half Moon Bay trailed by 7 after the first quarter. Miley Bowers, corkscrew spin with a left-handed finish. The juniors got 12. And a big smile as she retreats into the backcourt, taking it right into the teeth of that Terra Nova defense. Double teaming Saini. Venus Pasqua create the contact. She'll shoot 2. That was Claire Yerby riding her on the hip.
How about this take? When you're hot, you get the hometown bounce.
Six times in double figures, Bowers on the year. Venus Pasqua with 17, a pair of threes here in the third quarter. 74% foul shooter on the year.
On Somerville, I think the key stat here, if Half Moon Bay ends up winning this game day, the key stat that we're going to have to look at here is the number of assists. You know, a lot of dribble penetration for Terra Nova and getting to the line, but Half Moon Bay has moved the ball better than the Tigers have tonight.
For a team that doesn't shoot it very well, just getting more attempts will put more points on the board. Donovan got it up over Armstrong. Last touch and Claire Yerby and out of bounds. Claire's brother Ryan, a former star on the boys team at Half Moon Bay. Now playing college baseball in New York. Armstrong hauls it in with those great hands. Deflected by Dioli and out of bounds.
Yeah, she does have great hands, doesn't she? Man.
Everything seems to stick like Velcro. 3-point lead. Half Moon Bay on top, looking for Armstrong. Pass came off short. This time the arrow points to Half Moon Bay.
And again, the number of white jerseys in the paint, I think you'd want to try and get the ball outside first and then try another angle and get that defense moving again. I mean, helps to have somebody 6'5", but it's also tough to make that contested catch, especially when the ball's a little bit underthrown.
Rejecting on-ball screen, Dioli to the goal, deflected by Armstrong and out of bounds.
Armstrong's got to have 7 or 8 blocks, 5 blocks. Assist to Rick Reed.
A lot of challenges, though, and there's the jump over the top from Yerby. Rebound, Kolomatangi, and a foul in the backcourt. There's Claire Yerby having a conversation with her coach, Veloso. And there's the Half Moon Bay resident, Kolomatangi. Three-point spread.
Let's see if TerraNova can get some movement away from the ball, create some angles to get the ball down to Kennedy Armstrong now.
Kolomatangi steps into a three, rattles out. Rebound, Donovan. Tied up with Armstrong. And the arrow points to TerraNova.
Good hustle there by Armstrong, getting the hands on the basketball. So here's where the Tigers have had problems, Dave, on this very play. They've turned it over a couple times already in this third quarter, inbounding from this spot, and both trying to be forced down to Armstrong. This time they get out the perimeter.
Venus Pasqua shut off. Lobs inside to Armstrong. Kennedy can't finish. Rebound taken by Bowers. And the Cougs look to push. 3-on-3. Claire Yerby steps into a three. Pinball machine bounce. Controlled by Yerby. Donovan hustles, last touching Riley out of bounds. Great story, playing basketball for the first time ever. Will play college softball at the College of San Mateo.
All the footstep of her sister. Led the state in home runs last year.
Live now in Oregon, correct?
Impressive pedigree. I'll take your word for it.
Armstrong, checked by Donovan. Now for your starter, Saini.
For TerraNova last time down, they didn't get the bucket, but it was a much better possession. And here, Armstrong's going to get to the line. Yeah, but the last possession, Dave, on that inbound play, instead of forcing it down low, they came to the outside. And here, from the outside, a good feed that time from Pasqua, putting it where only Armstrong could get it. And the Tigers get the benefit, will go to the line. But being patient and understanding that you can work angles and get the ball down to your difference maker is going to be big for TerraNova. If they didn't get sped up, they could be on top of this game by 6 or 8.
Belmonte and Yerby go to the bench. Urban comes back on. Miley Bowers takes a seat. Miley, the leading scorer for Half Moon Bay with 12 tonight, as Armstrong knocks in the free throw. Kennedy has 10. Anacortes to the foul line. Challenged by Armstrong. Donovan saves. Now Kolomatangi. Pasqua. Clean block and out of bounds. Final 49 seconds of the third quarter. Looking for Armstrong. Not free. Another steal. Dioli again. McKenna Colucci. Team rebound, TerraNova.
Once again, Catherine Dioli creating an open shot. And again, we saw the inbound play again from TerraNova, trying to force it from the baseline into Armstrong. Get it to the outside, be patient.
Donovan checking Armstrong. Kolomatangi, free yourself with a bounce. Pasqua off the mark with a three, controlled by Dioli. Pass deflected. What a catch by Urban on the inside. Taken by Riley Donovan. Final 5 seconds. Time for the Tigers. Saini. Count of it goes. Does not go. Barn burner in a beautiful facility at Half Moon Bay. Second place on the line in the PAL. Riley Donovan, a major factor. Her team leads by 3. It's a great building, 15 years in the making. The Cabrillo Unified School District Boys and Girls Club. of the Coastside Event Center. $16 million facility. Opened last February, and Half Moon Bay lucky to play their games in a building like this.
No question. Stadium seating in a building like this? Are you kidding me? It is beautiful. I mean, it opened last year, and they take care of it. I came with a coffee to the front door earlier today. Wouldn't let me in.
Well, that's because they knew who you are.
Well, there's that too.
3-point spreads as we start the fourth period. Half Moon Bay on top, 36-33.
The one thing that's been impressive so far with Half Moon Bay, Antonio Veloso said he wants to make TerraNova guard the extra pass. Cougars have had no problem doing that so far in this game.
Diole, Cordes, Colucci, Urban, and Donovan, the 5 for the Cougars. Both teams, one loss in PAL North play. Chasing South San Francisco. They're ranked 5 and 6 in the section. Colucci, off the mark of the runner, taken by Armstrong. Nova, 2-on-2. Saini's runner off the mark. And Half Moon Bay's plan was to push. Anacortes to the goal. Does not get the roll. Cougars last year, the best season in school history, 23 wins, winning a section championship, reaching the NorCals before the loss to Arcata on the road. Pass too tall and off the mark as Veloso approves of his team's defensive effort.
As he should. Now, they've been overcommitting, but they have been denying passing lanes for TerraNova.
This is Diole. Shot rejected by Armstrong again. That's 6 for her tonight.
And again, you would like to see Half Moon Bay, little patience. Shot fake right there. You still have your dribble, and you've got an open lane. But again, I mean, you can see how Armstrong's length makes a difference.
McKenna Colucci. Riley Donovan with the shot clock winding down. Wong Hin. Only a freshman, jarred free, and a foul on McKenna Colucci. Armstrong, another big game, the double-double machine, 10 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 block shots.
Close to a triple-double.
Venus Pasqua to squeeze the trigger. Looking for Armstrong. Intended for Saini. Does not get the roll. Kennedy Armstrong, reverse layup off the mark. Taken by Cordes. Anna looking to push. Cougars in attack mode. Riley Donovan. And a foul in the backcourt. That's on Cordes.
Now, Anna Cordes waited probably a half second too long to make that pass to Donovan. Now, you can see the thought process. Making your defender commit before making the pass, but the lane was open earlier.
They'll shoot the 1-and-1 at the other end. Kapua Wong Hin, 47% around the year, huge upside. Only a freshman. Rebound Donovan. Second place on the line in the PAL North. Anacortes probing middle. Sees Armstrong coming over late. Kennedy with the deflection and the rebound. Padding are very impressive numbers. And a timeout charge to Kawan Somerville. Team with some work to do on the road. We'll take 1-2. 36-33, Half Moon Bay looking for a 7th consecutive win in the series. Cougs by 3, Antonio Veloso working with his team. Former assistant coach at Santa Clara, former head coach and AD at Great Falls in Montana. And was out of coaching in the medical supply business and thought, you know what, maybe I'll just try to do this. So he dropped his resume off wearing flip-flops and shorts, and sure enough got the job and has turned this program completely around. and doing it in a real fun way.
Pretty good resume. And he had that 5-year plan he told us about that did not include winning. And it turns out in the 5th year, process first, results later. It's exactly what he got, winning the section title in his 5th year of his 5-year plan.
Kennedy Armstrong with 12. Lead cut to 1. Dioli saw a peek and Armstrong was there.
Big possession for Half Moon Bay here. They've had some opportunities to separate from Terranova, but Armstrong's made a difference defensively.
Cordes, big 3 with the shot clock winding down. And what a huge difference she'll make as the season winds down.
A senior big shot here in the 4th quarter. See if the Tigers can answer.
Anna started last year on a section title team. There's a tripping foul on McKenna Colucci.
Well, the shot clock winding down. The Cougars have shown great patience. And Cordes knocking down the 3. Big shot for Half Moon Bay, making a 2-possession game again.
Venus Pasqua slow to get up. One of the key players to this Terranova team. 12-5, 4-1 in league. After a 7-win season a year ago.
And she kept the Tigers in it really in the 2nd quarter and the early part of the 3rd.
Pasqua 5 of 8 from the foul line. Mina shaking it off. He's got 18 to pace the Tigers. Cut the lead to 3. Somerville was very confident coming into this game, saying, we're not the same squad that would fold a year ago. We're older, we're more mature, we can win the close games. They're in a close one now.
And it's shown. I mean, they could have folded after that 2nd quarter, really, having a 14-point swing in quarter number 2. But they have competed here in this 2nd half. I mean, they may have not executed the way that he wants them to, but the Tigers have a chance to win this game.
Venus with 20 to lead all scorers. 5:07 to play 4th period. Velosa working with the squad, trying to hang on to a 2-point lead. Both squads chasing South San Francisco, 14-3, 6-0 in league. Half Moon Bay 6-1, Terranova 4-1. These are the 5th and 6th ranked teams in CCS Division 4, and as expected, a good one.
Yeah, as we expected, a close game, and it looks like it's going to come right down to the wire. And again, both teams have kind of battled some inconsistencies in this game, and both teams have a chance to win.
On a Cordes and Trigger baseline backcourt. Playing with Dioli, Donovan, Urban, and Bowers. Miley turns the corner, sees Armstrong there. Great feed on the baseline, Urban. Miley Bowers, too strong. This is Saini. No look pass. Armstrong trails the play. They'll work their half-court set. Saini. Tough runner comes off. Controlled by Dioli. Cougars by 2. 3-on-1. Great recovery by Saini. Maybe not great execution in the half-court set.
Pasqua was slow getting back, and a little hitch in her giddy up there. He's trying to walk something off on the left side. A good makeup play there by Saini, who prevented another transition layup for Half Moon Bay.
Abby Urban goes to the bench. Going to be Belmonte back on. Cordes, fouled by Ng. Only 2 fouls charged to Terranova, 8 for Half Moon Bay. Maybe a very key factor as we wind this one down.
Yeah, interesting substitution here. Armstrong coming off. You would anticipate just for less than 2 minutes, for sure. She's made a difference in this game.
She is their closer. Miley Bowers. Bamonte, freshman in the pressure cooker. Timer now at 7. Bauer's in trouble. Now 5 to shoot it. Cordes, deep 3. Comes off short. Rebound taken by Ng. Now the Tigers play for the tie or the lead. Vitas Pasqua fighting through some pain. Goes baseline, runner off the mark. Rebound taken by Donovan. Cougs look to push, knocked away by Saini along the sideline and out of bounds. Yerby back on as Bowers will go to the bench.
Well, possessions like that for Terra Nova have kind of played right into Half Moon Bay's hands. A shot early in the shot clock. Now, granted, you don't have Armstrong in there right now, but
Donovan lost the handle on the baseline, gets it back, shut off by Saini. And timeout charge to Antonio Veloso. Architect of 221 seasons.
A good timeout by Coach Veloso. This is a critical possession here. Just a 2-point game, and stretching that to a 2-possession game, Dave, is paramount, especially with no Kennedy Armstrong on the floor.
Stretching it out in a program that's really fun. We watch how they compete, but we loved how Coach Veloso talking about how he's making this a fun experience too.
You can tell. I mean, this team's having fun competing together. And it's interesting the difference he talked about from last year to this year. Last year, after a loss, this team would ride home, the bus would be completely quiet. But this year, music's playing. I mean, even after this team loses, they just like competing together. Once the game's over, it's done, and they're on to the next one.
Play music during practice. Yep. They took a trip to Folsom, and after one of the games, a tournament game, went ballroom dancing. Coach Veloso sent me a video of them at an Arthur Murray studio last night. Great team bonding group.
Well, he's taken that Division I experience and kind of given it to his team over the last few years. They take a trip every year where they don't stay with their parents, they stay with roommates on the road. Gets you kind of a big-time feel.
All culminating in a section championship a year ago. The first in school history. Donovan with a shot clock at 5. Yerby in trouble. Tiptoed along the baseline and called for stepping out of bounds.
Yeah, give it up for Pasqua. Out there clearly fighting through something, but moved her feet and was able to get in front of the driver. There's no doubt here, Dave, that Terra Nova is the more athletic team. Let's see if they can execute down the stretch now.
Armstrong back on. Ng takes a seat, so going with a much bigger lineup. 6'5", in for 5'3".
Much bigger lineup.
Two-point spread. Lob for Armstrong. Deflected by Donovan and out of bounds.
Again, forcing it to the post. So you want to get Armstrong or touches. There's a good pass.
Too easy. Tied at 39. Kennedy with 14.
Good
Armstrong
pass.
trying to defend in transition. A great job of running the floor for Riley Donovan.
After a made bucket, you have got to get back on defense.
Saini, runner off the mark. Taken by Yerby. Cougs looking to push. Catherine Dioli, very smart, the heady senior. Finds Donovan inside and the foul. It's on Saini.
You move the ball, you get rewarded, right? And that's what Half Moon Bay has done here. In transition, the perfect outlet pass from Dioli, and then moving the ball again in transition. And Dioli making a good decision not to push against numbers, instead circling it back out for an open shot.
First-year basketball player, Riley Donovan. She's got 9. High game, 12, 3 times on the year, last time against Oceana. Splits the pair. Kolomatangi back on the floor, offensive rebound on the foul. And Yerby will shoot 2.
Offensive rebounds, Dave. It's
been their calling card all year.
It's this team's MO.
15 to 18 O boards per game. As a squad, they shoot 53% from the foul line.
Well, they have stuck to their plan very well. I mean, even with the start, I think it was 10-2 at one point. And the Cougars just stuck with it.
Missing a pair, Sain with a rebound. Double team in the backcourt. 3-point spread. Dangerous pass. Pinball machine bounce. And here come the Cougars again. Cordes, free yourself with a bounce. Taken by Yerby. This time the arrow points to TerraNova. Fans are thinking of a quick whistle, and so does Coach Veloso.
Great crowd here tonight, by the way. The stands behind us are just about full. A lot of orange in the building, Dave.
Pasquale's runner off the mark, taken by Yerby. Here they come again. 3-on-1. Miley Bowers. Another turnover.
Well, like we said, Dave, this game has certainly swung the way of Half Moon Bay in terms of tempo. And now with 90 seconds to go, the Cougars with a 5-point lead, they've gotten this game to where they like it.
And TerraNova only has committed 4 fouls. Riley Donovan, deflected by Armstrong. 8 seconds on the shot clock. So if you want to get him to the foul line, you got some work to do.
Yep. Well, and one thing to remember is TerraNova is in the bonus here. So for Half Moon Bay, the message from Antonio Veloso has got to be no fouling. Because if you put TerraNova at the line, it's a win-win for the Tigers. You get the chance to score with no time coming off the clock. Nice play.
Donovan, baseline out of bounds. 7-point spread.
You want to talk about one type of play that's made a difference in this game, Dave? Baseline out of bounds. Half Moon Bay's executed, TerraNova has not.
Foul on Bowers. Kapua Wong Hin will shoot the 1-and-1 on the 9th Half Moon Bay foul.
Cutting on the baseline, another beautiful play. Movement away from the basketball. Good player movement, ball movement. And Half Moon Bay has, again, they may not have the size or athleticism that TerraNova has, Dave, but player and ball movement can create open shots, and that's exactly what the Cougars have done.
Wong Hin now 1 of 3 from the line in the 4th period.
Tigers need 2 free throws here.
Clutch pair of makes.
And now all of a sudden, Half Moon Bay is also into the bonus here. So we will see Half Moon Bay free throws. Now for the Tigers here, got to go for the steal in the backcourt and then try and extend the game.
7 fouls on the Tigers. 9 on the Cougars. 2-possession game. Final 45 seconds of the 4th quarter.
Looks like the Tigers are just going to play defense here.
Half Moon Bay with time on their side. Now 5 to shoot it. Dioli. Whistle with about a second on the shot clock.
The shot clock reset to 18.
Shot clock was about 1 when the official blew the whistle.
And now there's 18 up there. I think that may have been this whistle. I thought he was going to call a travel for a second. He held his hand up like he was going to make that motion. But all of a sudden there's 18 on the shot clock. And they're going to sort this out here. It's a nice move by Dioli to try and create an open 3 there at the end of the shot clock.
And using the entire 30, which really is part of the strategy here if you're Coach Veloso.
Surprised that TerraNova decided to play defense there. Now there's 26.8 to go, and it's still a 2-possession game. If you put Half Moon Bay at the line, the Cougars from the line this year, 53%. So it's a coin flip, basically, if you put them at the line. I think you take those chances and try and extend the game, get more possessions.
The only loss in league for each side was to South San Francisco, the team that's favored to win this league this year with Brittany Cedeno, that outstanding point guard. Back to 1.8 on the shot clock. So we'll see what the Cougs cook up on the sideline OB. And it's a two-possession game.
There's
still sorting out the clock issue.
Still 18 on the shot clock. It should be more like 1.8 is what it should be. They're going to sort this out again.
Well, it's Half Moon Bay defense that gives up on the year 27% shooting, relying on defense and a timely attack on the transition game to perhaps steal a home court win.
Yeah, they also forced Dave 25 turnovers a game, and they've done that tonight as well. And we'll see what the Cougars are not going to have very much time to get a shot off here.
And certainly not overly tense in these final moments. Part of the culture here that Velosa's created, going all the way down to the youth program. There's only one feeder school in Half Moon Bay, getting these kids to really embrace basketball and want to do it here.
And like you mentioned, Dave, this was a program that was not even on the map before he took over. I think you could say that for both sides, the boys and the girls. And they have turned into a basketball powerhouse here in Half Moon Bay. Of course, on this side, culminating with the CCS championship last year. And then getting a win in the state playoffs.
Beating Kerma before falling to Arcata in the NorCal second round.
And making the long drive. It was fun actually listening to Antonio Veloso tell us about that trip. Hey, we get one more trip together. We get to go on the road again, compete again.
Wasn't about winning the game, it was another opportunity to stay together.
Yep.
So much of that team was lost too, Alex, off of that squad, the two stars, Walling and Longanker, and now these other kids assuming greater roles this year.
And for Terra Nova, this is really this group's first time on this stage. When you think about the additions they brought in with, of course, Kennedy Armstrong, the transfer Aaliyah Haynes, and the experience of the seniors, Saini and Pasqua.
Only winning 7 games last year.
Yeah. And already with 12 this season.
And currently the 6th seed, according to Max Preps in the upcoming section playoffs. That's why this game is so huge, as the jockey for position, perhaps a home court game on the line.
I think for Kawan Somerville in his second season, I think if you can say that, hey, listen, we competed in the league, you know, we may have had a chance to come away with a league title if a couple bounces went our way and make CCS. That's a tip of the cap. In his second year, his brother Kareem goes to Dublin, and you know, Kawan taking over this program and putting his stuff in.
By the way, Kareem's Dublin team having a great year, 17-1, the third-ranked team in NCS Division I. Shot clock by Armstrong and a shot clock violation.
Well, that time, of course, Half Moon Bay no choice but to take the 3. So crucial sequence obviously here, 22.6 to go, a 5-point game, and we'll see what Terra Nova decides to do. We want to try and get a 3 up right here or go for the easy 2. I think you got to go for the easy 2 and then foul and put Half Moon Bay at the line in a 1-possession game.
Take the open 3, but obviously preference to score as quickly as possible.
Well, if you have the open 3, it's got to be the right person taking it. So I think you're talking about, you know, Pasqua, you're talking about Davira if she's in the lineup, and you're talking about Saini.
And Saini and Pasqua are 2 Tigers on the floor right now.
But I think you have to have points on this possession, Dave, to have a chance.
Either a 2 or a 3.
Either a 2 or a 3.
Tigers next up play Westmore on Wednesday.
Half Moon Bay, South San Francisco in their next matchup. So they want to take the momentum of this rivalry game They want to close this out, take momentum of this rivalry game into a matchup for first place. The Tigers got to hurry here.
Wang Hin. Ing 3 off the mark, taken by Bowers. Final 20 seconds, there's your foul. Saini in the backcourt. Urban rushes to the scorer's table. She's going to come back into the game.
That's only the 15th foul. So they had it wrong on the scoreboard earlier. They had 17 fouls, yep. So not in the bonus yet is Half Moon Bay. And still one more foul to give here for Terranova, so you can go for the steal quickly, but then you need to foul.
What a game for Donovan. Foul away from the ball. Or a clock issue.
They got a foul. 16 fouls now, so the next will put Half Moon Bay at the line.
Now the 6th foul on Nova. Substitution in for the first time. Eva Krasnia replacing Kennedy Armstrong.
And of the Cougars on the floor, Abby Urban has the highest free throw percentage, Dave. So I'd assume you'd want to drop a play to get into her hands. And she's got it now.
Foul on Wang Hin.
We should have 1-and-1 free throws here. Yeah, Urban's going to walk the length of the floor.
Abby, 68% on the year.
How about the job his team's done tonight, huh? He's sticking with the plan, making the extra pass. That was a big part of their game plan. Make the extra pass, make them guard you. If they can guard you through that extra pass, then they're pretty good.
After a 7th consecutive win in the series, Pearl Matangi back on for Nova. Urban, the foul shooter for Half Moon Bay. Final 15 seconds.
Got to hurry here.
Taken by Yerby. And the Cougars can see the finish line.
And that's going to just about do it. Yeah, there were times in this game where it looked like Terranova was the team in control, but you give Half Moon Bay credit. The way they defended made the Tigers speed up more than they wanted to.
Taken by Bowers. And that'll do it.
And fitting that we end the game on an offensive rebound for Half Moon Bay.
One of the keys to their success. They don't shoot it great, but they scrap and they get their own and got a home court win, 46-41.
And they made the right plays. They scrapped, they played hard, they competed, exactly what Coach Veloso wants to see, but they made the right plays. And it's all spearheaded again, Dave, in my opinion, by the point guard, Catherine Dioli. She is the end. She is the key that makes this engine go.
He said, we don't score a lot of points, we don't shoot very well. You watch us, we don't look like we're very good, but we play hard and somehow we win a bunch of games at the end.
And they made their opponent work for everything they got. Every touch that Kennedy Armstrong got in the paint, Dave, was contested. They had to work for everything, and they especially had to work, Terranova did, on the defensive end, where again, the ball movement for Half Moon Bay was outstanding.
Bowers with 14, Donovan with 11. Pasqua 20 points to pace Terranova, and Kennedy Armstrong at 14. Half Moon Bay now 16-4, 7-1 in league. Terranova drops to 12-6, 4-2 in the PAL North.
Well, I think for Terranova, Dave, this is going to be one of those games where they're going to be better for this in the long run. They're going to see how they got sped up and got out of their sorts, and they'll stick with it going forward.
Let's go to Danielle with 2 of the stars of our game tonight.
I'm with Riley Donovan. Riley, this was an emotion-packed game. How were you able to deal with that?
I couldn't hear you. I can't hear you.
I said this is a very emotional game and it's loud. How were you able to deal with that pressure?
Honestly, I think that for our whole team, the energy and the high emotion makes us better. It makes us want to win even more with all the people and all the noise. It just pumps us up even more.
And then in that first half, you guys took a little while to get into a rhythm. How were you finally able to settle down and play your game?
So I think that we were a little nervous. We had a lot of nerves coming into the game, and we didn't know what to expect. They have a lot of talent on that team, so we kind of came into it a little shaky, but then we all settled down. We realized what our brand of basketball is, and we just played our game.
Thank you, Riley. Over here to Miley Bowers. Miley, this is a rivalry win. How does that make it more special?
It makes it more special because more people come out. It's so like our school becomes really passionate about like basketball, and it's just awesome.
What goes through your mind when you sink a three like you did tonight and you hear that crowd go crazy?
I honestly don't really think about anything. It's just, I don't know, I just get really happy and then I like smile and then I just like forget about it, honestly.
Well, you should. That's a great smile. Thank you so much, Miley. Back to you guys.
Well, this program really is what it's all about. They win, they have fun, and they're good students. What more could you ask?
Nothing, and they got the win tonight, so it's a win-win-win for Half Moon Bay. And again, like I said, for Terra Nova, stick with it. You'll be better in the long run for this loss. But right now, Half Moon Bay, the disciplined play, it looked like they're treading in the right direction as we go down the stretch here
Paul Meiskens did our stats. Rick Reed, outstanding production. Our director, Gary Wasley. For Danielle Avari and Alex Jensen, I'm Dave Lewis. Stick around. Boys, we're coming up next.